Disclaimer, the comments made in this video are intended for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to offend anyone. Welcome back, folks. Today we're stepping into another battleground where logic meets feelings and fathers are the last ones standing. Buckle up. It's truth versus tantrums, and the dads are undefeated so far. First up, a father finally says what every parent's been thinking while the woke brigade clutches their pronoun charts.
This father confronts school board over secret gender transition of his daughter.
I'm not a politician. I'm not a loud voice on social media. I'm a father. A quiet one, one who goes to work, tries to do right by his family, and stays out of the spotlight. But now you're gonna remember my name. Because I'm not just fighting for my daughter. I'm fighting to make sure that what happens to me, to my family, never happens to another parent in this district. My daughter changed her identity, not after years of discussion or family dialogue, not after joint input from both of her parents. No, this happened quickly, secretly, encouraged by a school-appointed therapist and a system that never thought to include me. And the school didn't inform me, they didn't include me, they didn't even ask me, they replaced me. You gave her the therapist, you gave her the ideological support, and you never once thought, shouldn't the father be involved too? You replaced my voice, you stole my seat at the table, and you made decisions about my daughter without me. Your names are etched into my memory, not for who you are before your inaction cost me. And I'll make sure my name is etched in yours too. You are all responsible. Fathers like me will remember. I won't quit until each of you is replaced.
The activists in school wanted applause for progress, but all they got was a reality check with a side of backbone. Turns out, when you replace parents with politics, real dads don't go silent, they go off script. Next up, the woke brigade trying to brand secrecy as compassion while parents are kept in the dark.
We are grooming our children to be tools for maps for minor attracted persons.
What are some of the most heinous things that you've seen going on in the schools today that you've been dealing with the school boards?
Through these new transgender policies, they are creating environments where they keep secrets from the parents. A child can socially transition at school. They can leave home knowing that they're Megan, get to school and their new name is Michael. And the teachers will affirm them to be a boy, but never tell their parents. And they don't have to by law. They are creating environments and atmospheres that will lead to pedophilia. Pedophilia stems from secrecy. And some person being able to touch you, fondle you, misuse you, and abuse you, and you think that you can't tell what happened because that person might harm you, or they may lie and say that no, it's not true, and then shame you. All of these things are forged when there's an environment of secrecy. Many of these people are Marxist atheists. They are perverts. They are grooming our children to be tools for maps for minor attracted persons. These people are vicious and they must be called out.
They call it affirmation, but it looks a lot more like indoctrination with a smile. The father isn't fooled, and neither is anyone tired of watching schools act like therapy clinics. The moment truth shows up, their buzzwords pack up and leave. Here we go again, another school board meeting where progress means making kids pretend they're gay for a grade.
All right, well, thank you guys for having me. I am here to talk about an assignment that was showed into my daughter's classroom. I'm going to read the assignment. I do have a picture, but that's, neither here nor there. It says, stand in a circle. Each of you is now gay or lesbian, and you're about to begin your coming out process. You cannot talk for the rest of this activity. I don't see how this is part of the California curriculum for education. There's nothing that it does other than groom children. It's not okay, it's disgusting, and it should not be allowed. I was told by the vice principal of Rancho the first time I called that it was not part of the curriculum. I then emailed Dr. Villarreal. He emailed me back saying, oh no, this is definitely part of the curriculum, this specific activity. Then he had one of his other vice principals call me to confirm that it was really part of this curriculum. I have tried to get into contact with Dr. Villarreal over the phone about 8 times, and just failed every single time. He has not reached out to me himself personally, other than the first email contact that we had. I've reached out to Dr. Matt Doyle. I do understand that we will be having a meeting between January 6th and the 13th, I believe. So there is that. I don't think that this assignment should ever be taught to any children. It does not do anything other than groom them. should not be allowed. Anybody who teaches this should be fired immediately. That's all I have to say about it.
Okay, thank you. Just so that you know, if you've not spoken before, we can't respond from the dais.
I understand.
Okay, thank you.
The father isn't angry. He's just the only adult left in the room, brave enough to say, maybe this isn't math. The man reads their own lesson out loud, and suddenly, tolerance turns into stage fright. The same educators who preach be your authentic self can't handle hearing their own assignment in public. Next up, the school board meeting that proves woke professionalism is just arrogance in a suit.
Now that you're done each other off with a bunch of trophies and participation certificates, here's the truth. You guys don't care about the disabled kids because my disabled son was deaf. You put him in with a bunch of disruptive kids. There was no sign language interpreter, no instruction for sign language. He came home crying from Besser Elementary School every single day he went there because he got into fights with kids who didn't understand him because he was deaf. He couldn't talk. He couldn't sign. You guys left him there. No child left behind. You didn't want to give up the funding you get from state, federal, and local. So you didn't allow him to get transferred until I came in and went psychotic.
Mr. Porter, would you please refrain from using profanity?
You worthless
Okay.
You tortured my disabled son, and you will answer for it in a court of law. People like you hamstring their abilities to teach children like mine. You're a disgrace.
They preach tolerance until someone challenges their agenda, then suddenly words hurt more than actions. These are the same people who will write essays on empathy, but can't handle a father's anger. When real accountability walks in, their moral superiority packs up and hides behind policy. This time, the kind of logic that makes the woke side sweat.
We don't let children drink. We don't let them drive an automobile because they have bad judgment. They are flooded with hormones. Their brains are still in formation. Their sexuality is still in formation. Allow them to make judgments about that are going to have life-changing, forever implications for the rest of their life at that age is unconscionable, particularly in light of the Cass report.
I'm glad to hear you say that. Let me ask you a question about NIH research, if I may. I know this is something that you care a lot about. Under the first Trump presidency...
I do want to add that people who have gender differences should be respected. They should be loved. But loving them does not sometimes love means saying no to people.
They call it gender affirmation, but it's really adult confusion repackaged for kids. Mr. Kennedy reminds them that childhood isn't a science experiment, but the activists can't tell the difference between guidance and oppression. And here's another scene straight out of the Tolerance for Me, Not for Thee playbook.
Thank you to the 6 members that voted to go back to the 2020 interpretation of Title IX. And shame on the 1 board member that voted no.
I'm sorry, but negative comments will not be allowed.
Most of you have heard by now that I have started a petition that Augusta concerned parents, both Republican and Democrat, are signing. This petition is asking if you, the school board members, will put up a vote to have Miss Kim.
I'm sorry, that's not going to be tolerated.
She's also a public...
No, I'm sorry, it will not be tolerated. Once more, and you're off the podium.
So, as most of you know, someone is the president of the Maine Principal Association.
Nope, close enough. I'm sorry. You're done, Mr. Blanchard. You're done, Mr. Blanchard.
What? How is...
Done, Mr. Blanchard.
Wow. Communist China right here.
A dad calmly questions the local gender policy, and suddenly the free speech champions start hitting mute like it's a game show buzzer. Nothing exposes progressive values faster than an opinion they can't control. The board wanted respect, but what they got was a reality check wrapped in a MAGA hat. This time, we've got the speech police pretending to protect order while silencing anyone with a spine.
My constitutional rights. Go ahead.
Mr. Hubbard, would you please say something specific about the book so that we can let you continue speaking rather than making these generalities?
Can I get there?
Fast. Really fast.
No, there's no fast.
I'm saying fast.
Speak.
Excuse me?
You don't tell me how to speak.
Well, yeah, I am telling you. I'm telling you how to speak in this situation. Yeah.
And give me my 5
Point of order.
I'd like to propose a recess.
Sit down, please.
I'd like to propose a recess.
No, don't interrupt me. This is my constitution.
Doctor?
They claim to value every voice, but only if it reads from their script. The moment a parent talks about rights, they start twitching, like someone mentioned common sense. Nothing scares the woke gatekeepers more than a calm man who refuses to ask permission to speak. Here's where the trust the system crowd suddenly forgets what accountability means.
In a vote to allow trans students to use whatever bathroom they wish, you assured us that these policies were perfectly safe, as neither yourself nor law enforcement could provide a single example of any trans student assaulting any girl in any bathroom, in any school, in any state, anywhere at all. But not to worry, since you couldn't locate them, I took the trouble to. See, Loudoun County, Virginia, where last year, under district policy, a trans student was allowed into the women's bathroom where he assaulted a girl. To cover it up, they moved him to another school where he did it again. See Irvine, California last month, where a trans student entered the women's locker room and flashed the girls there. When they confronted him, he mercilessly beat them. This happened again in Gwinnett County, Georgia. This happened again in Oklahoma City. This happened again in Ohio. It should also be noted that in each of these cases, each of these perpetrators had either changed their pronouns, had undergone transition, or had received gender-affirming therapy.
A father calmly lays out proof, and the woke defenders of safe spaces start sweating like logic is a hate crime. They called it progress until facts showed up wearing work boots. Every word from him was a reminder that feelings don't change biology, and denial doesn't count as data. And this one perfectly sums up what happens when ideology starts parenting your kids for you.
The state of California says that I have to pay for the chemical and physical castration of my son as child support. Started when my son was about 2 years old. My ex-wife, who's a pediatrician, started thinking that he might be a girl and started trying to transition him to a girl. When I tried to put a stop to that, she filed for divorce and used her relationships with care providers to force me out of my house. She would put him into timeout and say, "Don't be a boy. The monsters only eat boys." Weird things like this. James never presented as a girl with anyone but his mom. At church, with me, with his friends, he dressed as a boy and called himself James. I asked him one time, "Why are you doing that?" He just flat out told me, he said, "Well, mommy doesn't love me if I'm not a girl."
The woke crowd calls it gender affirmation, but it's really just adults playing politics with a child's identity. The father speaks truth, and suddenly compassion looks a lot like control. They say it's love, but it sounds more like loyalty to a movement. Up next, another father walks into the lion's den of tolerance, armed with nothing but logic and the audacity to use it.
Is that how we're to act? We're gonna let boys in the bathrooms? I want to ask all the fathers up here to claim to love their daughters. Would you be okay if someone up here started getting naked in front of your daughter? No, yes they are. If they go in the bathroom, they will get in front of your daughter. You are a liar.
Hey, folks.
Okay?
We're not doing this.
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
We're not doing the back and forth.
These men, these boys, these biological boys, you're gonna allow them to go in and get naked in front of our kids? Are we that gone now? Where does this stop, guys? Where does this plateau? Next thing you know, we're gonna be okaying pedophilia? We're already letting kids pretend to be furries. We are letting kids be furries. Silence. I request your silence.
Please.
I don't care. Offensive? You know what, it's funny, all your shirts all say humble, kind, love everyone, but you don't love me right now, do ya? That's right.
Sir.
That's
hey,
right.
Folks,
So, Listen, there is no evidence. We are doing all this.
Sir, give me a second.
Okay.
You're here to address the board. You're not here to address the audience.
Right. Well, I kind of got called into it, so I apologize to you. So let me address you so I don't lose any more time.
And folks out there, please let him say his piece. You're entitled to the same.
The progressive panel, draped in slogans about kindness, suddenly looks offended by reality itself. They chant about love while glaring at the one person actually defending his child.
This is not a back and forth debate.
We're doing a lot of this, right? Because we don't want teen suicides. We want to prevent teen suicides. We're trying to accommodate these children. I wanted to be a dinosaur, man. Listen, let these kids get 18, let them grow up, and at 18, let them decide what they want to be. More power to you, but don't twist and manipulate their mind when they are impressionable. Leave our kids alone. Please, leave them alone. There is no study, not one that's ever been done, that WPATH, WPATH, World Professional Association of Transgender Health, set out to do a study about suicide. And did you know they could find no conclusive evidence that letting your child transition will save their life? Not one study. We are going down a path of irreversible evil and harm. We are accepting evil in 2025. This is sick. All these men getting up here speaking today, they don't have the courage to look at their kids and say, hey, I love you and I'm going to support you, but you're a boy or you're a girl. You were born in God's image. That's what men should do. That's what real men do. That's what real men of courage do.
Each sentence from him hits harder than their buzzwords, peeling away the layers of virtue signaling until only hypocrisy remains. And as the applause breaks through the noise, you can almost hear the ideology crack. And this is what happens when common sense meets a generation raised on feelings over facts.
I'm a conservative dad. Of course I'm raising lions, not sheep. I'm a conservative dad. Of course I teach my kids how to think, not what to think. I'm a conservative dad. Of course I teach my kids to respect their elders, women, and especially their mother. I'm a conservative dad. Of course I teach my kids how to have thick skin, defend themselves, and take pride in their work, no matter how small the task. I'm a conservative dad. Of course I teach my kids to lead by example, especially when it's unpopular. I'm a conservative dad. Of course I teach my kids that results come with consistency over time. I'm a conservative dad. Of course I talk to my boys like men, not children. Oh yeah, and we don't allow doom scrolling at dinner. And maybe most important of all, truth is compassion.
The dad says he's raising lions, not sheep, and somewhere a gender studies major just filed a complaint. While the woke world is out here teaching kids their truth changes hourly, this guy's out teaching them to think, work, and respect. Imagine that parenting without hashtags or victim points. Now we have a father who proved that progress apparently means the government gets to parent your kids.
Well aware of the BC father whose daughter, when she was in grade 7, was shown a video by her teachers featuring a transgender character, and she started thinking, I also want to cut my hair short. I also want to identify as a boy, just like the character in that video. The teachers entertained this. They allowed her to change her name. They allowed her to change her pronouns. They suggested she go get some counseling, and the counselor suggested she go talk to a doctor. The doctor suggested she starts transitioning. All of this happened unbeknownst to this father. So obviously he's royally upset. The courts ended up saying he's not allowed to misgender his daughter. He's not allowed to use the incorrect pronouns. He can't use her so-called dead name. And he's not allowed to talk to the press about any of this. A so-called gag order was placed on this. Now, obviously, with this being insanely tyrannical, he didn't do any of these things, ended up spending 69 days in jail for that. And he was also facing a fine of upwards of $30,000. Well, today, ladies and gentlemen, the judge just decided that he has won his case. He won his appeal.
His crime, calling out the gender zealots who think biology can be legislated away with hashtags and therapy forms. While activists celebrated compassion, they locked up a dad for refusing to pretend.
All right, guys, we're here with the man who's not supposed to be named after a huge victory. All right, this has been almost 5 years in the making, all culminating into this final day, this final decision. Tell us, what did the judge determine today? Because this sounds like some huge breaking good news.
You know, after a whole lot of spectacular disaster losses over the last 5 years, we got a huge win. We ended on a huge win. You know, everything I could have, hoped for today, we got from the BC Court of Appeal here. And, time served. So the 6-month sentence, what's left of it, I'm exonerated from at this point. The $30,000 fine removed. I'm walking out of here with a to end, what I would call this long saga with a huge win. And I hope parents and, this is important for everybody here because, I think the tide is changing. I've said it. I didn't know how it was going to reflect in what was going to happen today. And I can't say with certainty that was what it was. But, I hope this gives everybody some courage and some hope, right? And definitely encouragement because this is, this is huge. I mean, compared to where things were, who would have guessed the political climate?
But the best part, after years of state-sponsored moral grandstanding, the truth finally cracks through their script.
Breaking gag orders and publication bans and getting the word out. because I think most people didn't even believe that things were this crazy. I mean, it was honestly people, they needed to know the truth, and I was sitting on it, and I was told I couldn't tell anybody, and to me that was unacceptable at the time. And I paid a price. I mean, I did. As I said, 69 days in jail and I guess if he's had today, I guess you could say 70.
What was that like in the battle? Because you just won in such a huge victory when they had their side stacked.
Yeah, there were times, where I was up against, before this became a criminal case, which literally pitted me up directly against the Attorney General and the government. I mean, there was 50 lawyers involved on the other side at times. It was insane. I took on everybody that literally had a hand in what happened to my child. Literally everybody that played a role. And that brought 50, and these aren't just your regular lawyers. I mean, a lot of them were specific trans activist lawyers. I mean, the whole mob. I took on the whole mob with, just a couple guys.
Turns out you can jail a man, but you can't jail reality, and watching woke logic collapse under the weight of common sense never gets old. Up next, a professional virtue signaler takes the mic and mistakes sarcasm for moral depth.
And we have one speaker, Mr. Walter Masterson. Mr. Masters.
A more, woke school board would see the death of a child and work to make sure it never happens again. Not this board. This board sees a dead kid and says, that's a good start, because this school board signed up to protect all children. And by all children, they mean these children, not so much these children. Hate us if you want, but we're the good guys. We want to let kids be kids, and there's nothing more unnatural than a teenager experimenting with their identity. It has never happened before and should be punished. We're the good guys. We'll spit on a kid's grave, blame the parents, and tell our teenagers to hit them harder. We're the good guys. When we heard that a trans child had been beaten to death, our state senator, Tom Woods, immediately released a statement. We don't want that filth in Oklahoma. We can call children filth, even the dead ones, because we're the good guys. And if we're wrong, if God doesn't want us driving off the lepers and deviants and worshiping the bankers, if our God doesn't want us casting the first stone, if our God doesn't want us loving people despite their differences, well, if we're wrong, then I guess I'll see you all in hell.
He delivers his speech, dripping with that classic woke arrogance, the kind that confuses mockery with meaning. Every line is another performance, another audition for online applause, as if hashtags could replace actual empathy. And finally, here's what happens when college activism eats basic decency for breakfast.
Who's he mocking? He can't say his name. He's not good enough. I want y'all to say his name.
My name is
This is a college kid. Well, he was a college kid mocking the death of an innocent man, a father, a husband, a believer in God. We're supposed to tolerate these insufferable people. We're supposed to love our enemy. I'm sorry, I can't do that right now. And this isn't about color. This is about good and evil. And I'll say it. I believe there are far more evil people on the left. I don't care anymore.
The woke crowd cheers on expression until someone actually expresses morals. Then it's chaos. A father calls out the nonsense, and suddenly truth becomes hate speech. Because in woke land, feelings are facts and accountability is oppression. And there you have it, another round of fathers reminding the woke world that biology isn't bigotry and truth doesn't need permission slips. While activists rehearse their next apology video, these dads are out there raising the next generation of thinkers, not followers. Subscribe and stay tuned because the pushback's just getting started.